It has been 453 days since now 16-year-old Sebastian Rogers vanished from his home in Hendersonville. His disappearance sparked national headlines, but now his father says the case is losing momentum. With National Missing Children's Day coming up on Sunday, he is raising his voice and demanding urgency. News 2's Caitlin.
I went and talked to neighbors, and every single one of them, every single one, welcomed me. And if they had video surveillance, they gave it to me. The only person that would not talk to me, as the only person that had something to hide and wouldn't talk to me. You know, she has a son that's hiding and waiting for somebody in the dark, late at night on the 25th. And there needs to be some explaining for that. I'll just leave it at that.
That we are going to keep searching, we are going to keep looking, we are going to find him, and we are going to bring him home.
Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said no evidentiary value.
It is of no evidentiary value. It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No.
Why?
Because the investigation remains ongoing.
Yeah, I'm working on behalf of Sebastian. I am not, my client is Sebastian, and they're the guardians that have the ability to sign.
It just started. Hi Dad, I know this is gonna sound weird, but tomorrow's picture day. So could you send some decent clothes over to me so that I can wear the decent clothes and be handsome for my birthday? We all decent clothes. Mom!
Because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
All right, welcome everybody. Let me pause that real quick. Give me just a second. Let me fix the mic here. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. Let me get this over here. Excuse me. Oh, now I got something in my throat. Margaret, my email is in the description below, and if a mod can put the email up, Nightbot should put it out as well. There. Oh, no, that's the YouTube channel. But it's join the mob crew at outlook.com. But yeah, it's in the description. But yeah, welcome everybody. Today won't be... Oh, that's right, the Pig Fest. I haven't really been following that part of it. Yeah, that'll be kind of interesting. What day is that, Denise? I know that's very soon, right? Read chat here. Let me catch up here. Bo, love all you do for Sebastian. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bo. And thank you for 6 months. That's awesome. Teresa, good to see you. Thank you for all you do for the missing. My pleasure. Again, I couldn't do it without the support from you guys. Let me just catch up here. Charlene with the 4 months. Great channel. Thank you so much, Charlene. And we have Judy becoming a member and supporting this channel. Thank you so much, Judy. That is so sweet of you. Yeah. And everybody always asks me that song. If you want to know, it's in the description. It's obviously it's a cover from Metallica's "Nothing Else Matters" by Phoebe Bridgers. And I don't know if I have the link to it, but I know I have the artist and the song title, of course, in the description. Maybe I'll have to put the link in there as well. Anyway, so today's video, or today's live show, not going to be very long, but there's been some kind of wild stuff going on, misinformation going out, and I hate wasting my time on misinformation. So this is going to be a two-parter show. Again, it's just going to be kind of short, and I still get some questions because I even saw in chat earlier, people are kind of wondering, you know, with this new scenario we're kind of been entertaining about, did he even make it home? How do the 3 a.m. lights, you know, fit into that? And so I'll kind of just recap that just very quickly, because obviously we did a full live on that yesterday, and if you haven't seen that and are interested, check it out. Again, it is theory, but it's kind of based off, some evidence and some sources that I trust that I've heard some, again, alleged rumors, but, I don't put out just random rumors unless they come from sources I trust. So, but yeah, some wild stuff. Allegedly a burner phone. And so for those tuning in, I've always told you guys that, eventually that I've got receipts, right? And today I'm going to share just a little bit of those receipts because it's just getting so ridiculous. And I'm like, you know what? Let's make them a little nervous a little bit. So I'm going to, guys, get to see. I was going to originally just do a members live only, but then I was kind of thinking, you know what? I clearly some of these people on their team or whatever watch my show, and I'll show that here in a little bit. But yeah, just reading chat here. Someone said that Nick the Hat was being stalked, which is interesting. Would not surprise me. This case is unlike anything else I've ever covered. Never seen a case where, people are going out and searching and being threatened. Not to say it hasn't happened before. Maybe like a misunderstanding where somebody goes onto somebody's property and, they're just getting threatened because they're, maybe didn't get permission. But this is on a whole other level. And yeah. Buckeye, thank you so much for renewing the membership. God bless. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So quickly, if you're here yesterday, I will just kind of just shortly, maybe 10 minutes at most, recap kind of the a second scenario if he didn't actually make it home and he was taken somewhere between Texas Roadhouse and his home. And I think there's definitely, some good evidence to support that, for sure. And we will continue to look at that angle. I'm still kind of, I wouldn't say 50-50. I'm almost, again, like 60-40, almost leaning a little more towards that he may not have made it home. But then people wonder, how does the 3M lights fit in? Well, it does.
They had to play video games.
So let me take a sip here and figure out how the best way, because I didn't really have time to just make a 10-minute recap. This is basically the stuff I put yesterday. But if you missed it, we'll just kind of start at Texas Roadhouse. And I'm going to put out a short video as well here on this, hopefully by tomorrow. So we know that there's the green hoodie lady. Allegedly law enforcement cleared her after, Texas Roadhouse footage was released. Suspiciously, they had found this person just after the video came out, which is scary in its own right, because how would they have not known that this person who's loitering next to Katie's car for about 2 minutes, they're not like, it's not like they're taking a phone call and stopping before they're going in to be respectful. No, they are literally loitering, sitting there next to Katie's car, and then what do you know, within less than 2 minutes, they're coming out. And then instead of Katie just waiting, like if this person was walking between the cars to, come into the restaurant, no, Katie walks right up to him, as if they know each other. Then I also pointed out maybe 2 months ago, maybe a little less, that you can actually see, and I'm going to release this in a short video, but you can see right there, notice I paused it right here. Here's kind of a zoomed out, and then here's a zoomed in version. She's literally putting something in her ear. And I mean, that's the exact motion. Anybody who's put in earbuds, I mean, that is the exact motion. I know we've gone over this, and I do apologize. I hate to kind of regurgitate stuff, but just kind of recapping yesterday. But I mean, it's clear as day, in my opinion. She's putting something in her ear. I think it's a wired or wireless earbud. And I think there's a possibility that maybe she was handed a burner phone. And keep in mind, we start talking about a burner phone that she's handed, right? And then all of a sudden, in the last day, 24 hours, there's now mention of a burner phone involved with Seth Rogers. And we'll talk about where this all came from and stuff. And I wonder, is this a coincidence? Let me know in the chat when we get to that point. But anyway, I do wonder. So again, I wish we had time to, fully recap this. But obviously she has a dash cam. Now, it has audio inside the car, but obviously the video is only showing the road itself, right? But I have gotten word, allegedly, it's a rumor, which I've, that, let me move forward here. I do wonder if the green hoodie lady, if she is involved, if she was there to maybe hand Katie something, say a burner phone or something, and that way she's getting instructions. And then remember, she's got to head back home, and there's a couple spots here where, especially this road here, where it's kind of a little bit back road, where then you'll come on to Stop 30, I think it's called, and then you can get on New Shackle Lane, which is right here. And then that pretty much takes you straight to Long Hollow Pike and then their neighborhood. But you could easily have, let's just say in this scenario, have somebody, parked there, and Green Hoodie was there to say, hey, it's a go. Someone's in place, that maybe, is familiar with Sebastian. And then when they, she gets to either this stop or one of these stops or just before, there's a car that pulls up to the side. Obviously, the dash cam would be just facing the road in front. She could kick on some music or whatever. And Sebastian gets transferred out. And then no one's none the wiser. You hear audio, at least of him leaving. But allegedly, rumor has it that there's only 6 minutes of audio. Again, just rumor. But, here's just an example of dash cam. So, right, you can't see inside the car at all. You can only basically see, depending on where you have it, maybe the hood at best of your car. And yeah.
Look at it, it's him running, but still.
Okay. So he took the.
And then, interestingly enough, we know, huge shout out to Silvers. He's driven through this neighborhood a couple times, I think twice at night. And I believe both times, especially in this one on the right side, is him. You'll notice, and even the neighbor that lives across the street that captured the surveillance, she mentioned that, she saw days before, where she watched Sebastian skipping around to the mailbox and stuff, that they had their porch light on, and she even made note to a creator saying, "Hey, it was kind of odd that the porch light wasn't on." And then here you go, the times that people drive by it, porch light is on. Coincidence? Maybe. I doubt it. But yeah, clearly the porch light wasn't on that night. And then even Seth said he doesn't think that it was his son. He couldn't tell it was Sebastian. Now, in that video, allegedly, this is just kind of, coming from, second-hand, third-hand source, but coming from Seth, is that allegedly in the video, you can see someone pulling out the trash, but obviously it's very dark, and apparently they were wearing a hoodie. Again, that's just rumor. I've even heard ball cap, but I don't know for sure. I think the hoodie is more I would say, credible as a rumor than the ball cap. I've heard that a few times, but I'm not sure on the ball cap. But and what do you know? Katie does have a hoodie in Texas Roadhouse. So then, let's see here.
Exactly off the top of our head.
Just waiting 1 second here. But this would be kind of what it looked like. Obviously, it's not even close. But and then the person, they pull out the trash because this is where the trash can is. And then they run back. And Katie, in her interview with the PI, which is going to be released for the members and Patreons tomorrow, and then I'll probably release it Monday for everybody else. She makes note that, yeah, you could tell it's him because of his mannerisms and the way he's running back. And so obviously as a mother, you would know, hopefully you know your child's mannerisms. And so, if you're just seeing a shadowy figure and then all you see is that shadowy figure running back to the home, but you can't make him out, you could claim, oh, that's Sebastian because he's running, but clearly it could be Katie or somebody else.
Correct me.
Between 9 and 12.
All right, moving on from there. So how does if that happened, if he was transferred, and again, we're going to get to the new stuff here in just a minute, but if he was transferred, how would the 3 a.m. lights play in? Well, keep in mind, if they did transfer Sebastian out, right? And remember, he had 3 pairs of shoes. He had a new pair of sneakers, an old pair of sneakers, and a pair of boots. So, obviously, at the very least, you would need his shoes and probably that Yoda shirt to show, proof that he made it back home. And I think this is probably where they've screwed up, if this scenario could be true, is they were so worried about the shoes being back and they put him there, that having him there looks terrible because now all of his shoes are there and he allegedly wandered off barefoot in the middle of, pitch black. Sounds ridiculous. So I think to get those back, that whoever was involved, another party, extended family, whatever, would then would have to show up. Obviously, they're not going to drive right to the home, because that would be on the night he went missing. So it just, everything plays out the same, except the only thing is that they're going to pick up clothes from the vehicle and come back. And again, it does kind of make sense in that point. Yeah, where is the shirt? Yes, Dane. Because Seth was so busy. He said he was there 3 days, from the first day that they were searching for him, when he was at the home, that, there was so much going on. He never had a chance to really, examine the home or anything. So, yeah. But yeah, so that's how the lights kind of play into it. So the 3 a.m. and everything still, you'd have to get the clothes back. So I do like that theory. It is sound. Again, it's still just a theory, but we still have the unknown cars and all that. So no worries, Phil. Why turn off camera and lights around house if they drop Sebastian on the way home? Why then turn off camera? Oh, I don't know if you're talking about inside the car, Mimi. from what I understand, they kept the recording went until they got to the home. From what I understand, I'm not sure if I understand that question 100%. If they drop Sebastian on the way home, because you mentioned lights. Yeah, I don't know if you could elaborate. Maybe I can. But anyway, like I said, we dived much deeper into it yesterday. If you want to check it out, if you missed it. But I want to kind of get into the newer stuff. But again, that's just kind of a real quick summarization. Obviously, yesterday's video had all the different little clips from Katie and Chris talking and all that to kind of add to the this scenario of him not making it home. And then if you think about it, one last two things about this scenario as well that also kind of adds a little bit more validity to it as well is, did I pass it? Let me go back.
Correct
Sorry.
me.
This. So remember, Chris and Katie, remember, he went missing on the 25th, looking for him on the 26th. Remember, they did 2 interviews with Duchess, like day 3, day 4, something like that, somewhere around in there. And then I think they did one with Smiley. And then it wasn't until Chronicles of Olivia, nearly a month later, is when then they mention the first time Katie mentions a noise. I don't know how you go through all those times. If this would be true, this would be the last time you allegedly heard and spoke. Yeah, heard Sebastian and spoke to him. You would think that would be a big deal and something like seared into your brain. Yet no mention of that with at least 3. Of course they did the interviews with the news station, so I'm not sure how many. I know at least 5, probably even more. It's not until March 18th. The video's released on the 20th. But yeah, at least 3 weeks. Then they mention the noise. And then her, not only mention the noise, but then, I don't know what you're doing. And if you think about it with this scenario that he never made it home, here's another thing where they're trying to show proof of life that he's home, right? Because if they don't mention that, then, there's more to support he didn't make it home. But then if you add this noise, it's almost like they're trying to come up with, some details that show, oh, look, he made it home. Shoes are here. Oh, yeah, that loud noise we heard. And the last time I spoke to him and he spoke to me. So if you think about it in that sense, just another thing to kind of add in proof of life. And then the other thing, and then we'll get into the new stuff for today, is the small flashlight, which I have such a huge issue with, that they know about by day 2, within less than 48 hours. A little small keychain flashlight, they somehow know that is missing. And I think this adds more to them trying to proof of life that he made it home, right? That's just another thing. And here is Melissa Proudfoot mentioning this on day 2. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but walked out in the middle of the night with his glasses, a small flashlight, no shoes. We've been searching since 6:30 yesterday. Clearly, they're looking for him on day 1 at 6:30. So clearly that was written on day 2. So very interesting. And Mike DeMann from YouTube has been breaking down every single guy. He's been breaking down so much. For those who are familiar with Mike DeMann, put in a lot of work. I'm sure he'll eventually grow as a YouTuber. Another person who's really good at breaking down, I forget what's the profession that is, linguist or whatever, But he's breaking that down, and he even kind of mentioned that he thought the way that this was written was almost like it was written by Katie. And if you haven't seen that, I think I know he has a video on that, just breaking this down. I think kind of suggesting this even could have been Katie writing this, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, that is it in a nutshell. But again, if you missed it, definitely check that out from yesterday. Let me get to chat, and then we'll get into the burner phone and all the crazy stuff that's happened in the last 24 hours. And it's just nonsense. And then, of course, I'm going to bring some receipts. Just a few. Just a little nibble. But I told you guys, those that follow me, transparency is the best policy. And, whenever this case does get solved or arrests are made, I will release all my text messages. Not all, but at least the most important ones that show that there was stuff that, yeah. All right, let's quickly shout some people out real quick. Sensei, thank you so much for the $5 euro. You are a legend. Thank you so much, Sensei, and I appreciate all the love and support. And thank you so much for the Gifted Mob Crew membership. God bless you, Sensei. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. DJ Polly, hopefully I got that right. It's a little small right there. Thank you so much for the super chat. God bless you. Okay. Just to kind of get caught up on that. I saw someone mention Deception Detective. Is he in the chat? I have something for him that I'm working on. Hopefully I'll have it out by Monday. Maybe I'll send it via email to him. Man, I would love to have him break that thing down. Good to see you, Leslie and Billy. Hope you're doing well. Neighbor down the road. Wonder if you're getting that storm as well. It's not a big storm, but it's getting a little rowdy out there for a bit. Okay, so let's get to the nonsense, and then I'm going to show you guys some receipts for the first time. He says, so you think he made it home, and again, like I said, I'd almost say 50-50 either way. But the more I kind of look into this, him not making it home and how much Seth's it's not him. And one last thing I'll mention, then we'll move on to the new stuff, is I even showed something that I thought was very important because, let's see, let's see. Yeah, right here.
Top of our head.
Wait, hold on. One last thing.
And he is on video, and the FBI was.
Okay, so this is that interview that I've been, fixing up so I can release it. But yeah, if you missed it yesterday, listen to what Katie says.
Definitely.
And we went home straight from Texas Roadhouse. And we were home for approximately 15 minutes before he took the trash out. And he is on video, and the FBI was able to clear it up and confirm that it's him.
In her own words, the FBI was able to clear it up and confirm it was him. I would think that's a big deal.
Even though you can tell it's him from a mile away.
Oh, oops, sorry, it turned it up a little bit.
Because of how he runs, it's just, you could tell from his mannerisms.
And of course, all you can see is a dark, shadowy figure, allegedly with a hood. And the only way allegedly that you could even tell allegedly it was Sebastian is because the person's running back, and only Sebastian would be running back.
You look at it, it's him running, but still.
But in her own words, FBI cleared it up and confirmed it, right?
Okay. So he took the trash about 15 minutes. And that was about what time was?
So the FBI statement that came out, so September, August? And time flies. Here we are. This is straight from the FBI. This is just a screenshot from the top part. And here is in their own words. February 26th, Katie woke up, took him to school. Before that. The previous day, he spent with his mother. The pair shopped at a department store, played video games at a bowling alley, had dinner at a local restaurant before heading home for the evening. After returning to their home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Katie and Sebastian prepared for bed, saying goodnight sometime between 9 and 10 p.m. But yet, they do not mention, which I would think would be a big deal, in between these two paragraphs would be seen on ring cam is Sebastian Rogers taking out the trash at 7:00 something p.m. It is not there. I would think that would be a huge thing to point out, and shut a lot of people up, but it is not there. Okay, all right. Moving on to the nonsense of today, and then showing a couple of receipts. So remember, the last few days we've been kind of mentioning the headphone that looks like she puts in, and possibly getting a burner phone, right? Been kind of passing that again. I mean, it looks clear as day that she's putting something in her ear. The burner phone clearly is more speculative, but we've been kind of mentioning that a lot lately, and then guess what happens? Oh, one last thing. Good old fish sticks, man. He never ceases to amaze me, man. This guy, holy hell. Jesus. This is what happens when you look at a book cover, you know. Remember when the quote, don't judge a book by its cover, you know, just like a thumbnail. Clearly he didn't watch. Well, I don't know. Let me know what you think in chat. So let me read this. This is from my live from yesterday. So he clearly watches me, or at the very least is keeps an eye on me, which is kind of scary to think about. Mom Crew has now admitted to his followers. This is so great. Mom Crew has now admitted to his followers that for all this time he has deceived them. I guess I have amnesia. Did I get hit on the head during my last two lives? I don't remember telling you guys I deceived you, but damn. There were no people in the lights video. There was not a 3M vehicle that kidnapped Sebastian Rogers. There was no people moving through the neighborhood, like he told his followers over and over and over. He has now admitted he lied. Holy shit. When did I do that? Am I getting old? Like, what is that? Not amnesia, but, my ADD brain. It'll come to me in a minute. But anyway, when you get, oh my gosh. Older people start to forget. The word is like there, but I just can't put it out. I'm sure. But anyway, dementia. Anyway, I guess I got dementia now. He has now admitted he lied. He made it all up. Man, when did I do that? I got to go back and look at that. Alzheimer's. Yeah. Holy hell. Now he claims he has shocking evidence. Yeah, I mean, you got to use those kind of titles in YouTube. Welcome to the YouTube world, buddy. That Sebastian never made it home to Texas Roadhouse. If he never made it home, then everything else Mob Heroes claim to those dumb enough to believe him wrong, because you can't kidnap someone who isn't there. Well, no, we're just kind of, tossing around scenarios. Because again, First Amendment right, and again, it's funny. It's okay for him and others to speculate and theorize, because he does it all the time. I've seen it. Yet, I guess when I do it and others do it, it's a no-no, right? You can't speculate, right? Holy shit. This is crazy. And if you happen to be a person that believes this tragedy pimp clickbait clown, then you deserve each other. Wow. Going after my followers like that, man. I just can't believe this is an adult, man. That's not adult. There's times that I've lost my temper, and I'm not proud of it. And I hate drama. I so hate drama. And again, I almost didn't want to go live on this, but I thought it was so funny because it's like, what do you guys think? Do you think he just saw my thumbnail? Which here, I'll show you the full thumbnail here. Do you think he just saw my thumbnail and then just assumed that now I am just going after the theory that he didn't make it home and then never touched on the 3 a.m. part, right? Or do you think he actually did watch it and still just put that out? And I could see it either way. You know what I mean? And I don't know which one's worse. But my hell, man. Yeah, he's the one, but yes, of course. Yeah. Very serious bungee cord. Because I've been, again, I'm not an expert, but I've been on some searches, and every case I've worked on, especially, when you're actually working on it, boots on the ground, there's weirdos that come out of the woodworks, even in the smaller cases, right? And it's kind of scary. It's just, and again, these are adults, right? Don't go on social media if you can't handle the heat, man. Like, I don't get it. Like, you are going to get criticized, right? I get criticized. Anybody that's on social media that's always posting, they're going to get criticized one way or another, right? Nobody's going to fully agree with what you said, or you mispronounced something. Everybody is going to look at, especially if they're more kind of, just people that are just kind of, more negative thoughts. They're always just trying to look at, some way to kind of catch you or slip up or something. But anyway, it's just wild to post this in a tweet. So now people read that and think, like saying that, like, oh, I've lied to all my viewers, right? Yet it just, I know I could go on and on. It's just, it's creepy. It is honestly creepy. Okay, 1 second. Let me make sure I didn't screw this up. But man, that's just weird. Just weird. Okay.
Clarksville area.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure. Okay, I know what I did there. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's first get to the nonsense, and then I'm going to show you guys some receipts, right? I wish I could show all of them or more of them, but of course I can't burn my inside sources until, certain individuals are in lockup. Anyway, so now there's mention of a burner phone. So let's listen to this while I read chat. This comes from J for Justice podcast, which is a shame because I used to follow J for Justice. Like, I've really have no quarrels. Maybe you guys feel differently. Like, I've always tried to just stay in my lane and not get into the drama or politics on different channels. And, when I was covering Gaia Betito, like, I shouted her out, like, a bunch of times, like, in my videos. It irks me because it's like this case is really just divided, put a bad taste in people's mouth and just turn people on each other. And it's really sad, because everybody should have different views, and then if you got a theory and you feel like it's sound, but then, if you're looking at the other angle, right, then you can kind of see where maybe they put holes into your theory, and then, that helps you reorganize that theory to better solidify that. But, that it isn't looked at it like that anymore. You know, you're on one side or the other or whatever, you know. Anyway, it's crazy. So let's do this burner phone. I'm not going to deep dive into it. There's not much in here. But again, the timing is interesting because we were just talking about a burner phone for the last 3 days, right? And so let's see how this all started. It's pretty crazy. Let's see, really good. Did you see a nice post about SF and the issues he's caused? Oh yeah. Trust me, really girl. If you're kind of newer to the channel, I'm not sure. It seemed like I've seen your name before. I didn't mean to hit you on the head. Yeah. No, it is no joke. No, yeah, definitely not joking. I'm just saying, like, you know, because I've had a family member. Yeah, certainly no joke, but it's just, you know, it's just wild for him to make those accusations. Jesus.
Sebastian Rogers had only a handful of saved contacts in his phone. After he disappeared, investigators reviewed his call records and allegedly discovered an outgoing call.
Okay, notice, let me pause it and I'm going to restart it. Brenda, thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting this channel. God bless you. I remember in an interview that KP was asked if she had heard Sebastian go out the window, and CP answered, "We would have heard him." Yes, DJ, yeah. I know exactly. I don't know if that was in Smiley's or... Oh, there's so many interviews from that early days. But yes, I do remember that, Paulie. Yeah, it is kind of eerie how much he inserts himself. Okay, so let me back this up. And I cut a good portion of this out because I just wanted to play the main parts. She's just reading something, and I'll tell you who it came from. Again, there's not a lot to it, but so this is Jay reading something out about allegedly Seth having a burner phone, and here we go. And allegedly not even a last call. Notice the word how she uses allegedly. Just keep that in mind.
Beginning. Sebastian Rogers had only a handful of saved contacts in his phone. After he disappeared, investigators reviewed his call records and allegedly discovered an outgoing call to a burner phone. Law enforcement allegedly traced and triangulated that number to the Clarksville area. Oh no, I'm sorry. Someone...
And Clarksville, if you don't know, that's where Seth lives. And I'll play this last part, and then I'll give my thoughts on it.
It says that Seth talked about mentioning having a burner phone. Okay? And then Nerdy asks, physical burn?
And notice she said nerdy, and if you don't know who I'm talking about, I'll mention in a minute. Yep, she mentions allegedly.
Burners or virtual burners provided through apps.
So she just said either a burner phone or a burner app, which is really just like Google Voice. So, or other apps where you can go, on your phone and get an app, and, you can basically just get a free number, basically, which isn't, and then that way it's, not tied to a name or, as your cell phone would be. Now, the first issue with this is a burner cell phone. The proper definition of a burner cell phone is you get a prepaid phone, you use it, and then you burn it. Not literally, or you could literally. You get rid of it. So if Seth says like, well, I still have a burner phone. Well, it's not technically a burner phone because you still have the damn phone. So it's not a burner phone until you've bought the prepaid, used it, and then you ditched it. That is the full definition. At least from my understanding, that's the full definition of a burner phone, is you get rid of it after. But if you still have it, I don't know if that's considered a burner phone or you just bought a second phone that just happened to be a prepaid phone, right? So that's ridiculous. Now, the Google Voice app or an extended number, now that is kind of believable. And and even texting apps. Yeah, sometimes they're just texting apps. You can get like a number for, or even phone calls.
So, yeah, sounds like there's a little pressure being put on Seth and the Clarksville area due to possibly an app, maybe, like a Google Voice app or something along those lines that would give you a burner number or a physical burner.
But again, if you have the damn phone, because she mentions that earlier, saying that, he's still got this phone, allegedly. Well, if he still has a phone, it's not a burner phone until you get rid of it. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the full definition of having a burner phone. Like solid, a phone. You get rid of it after. But anyway, the funny thing is, they don't mention a time. Let me see. There's a little bit more to this.
They're not saying when the outgoing call was. It just says,
no way. No way. Now listen to the rest of this. I wonder why.
After he disappeared, investigators reviewed his call records and allegedly discovered an outgoing call to a burner phone. So
this is the dumbest thing ever, and I'll tell you where it really came from, and it's going to be no surprise. So they're saying that there is an outgoing call. They don't say the date. So this could literally be like 6 months ago. But the fact that, she says, well, after he went missing, then they looked up his phone records. Well, obviously all his phone records could be before he went missing. So clearly you could take this way out of context and say, oh, well, at one point, maybe Seth and his son were communicating through this app because, well, maybe, his mother or Crispy was, being an a-hole about them talking to each other when, he didn't have Sebastian at that time. And so maybe this is that way he could speak with his dad without, I don't know. But again, you can definitely tell this is just, I think there's probably a shred of truth to this, but I think it's just completely taken out of context. And it is, again, it's about an hour away, Clarksville. It's to the west, kind of northwest. I'll show you on the map here. But again, keep in mind, we have no idea. So it's hour and 4 minutes away, a little over 50 miles. And it is. It's where Seth lives, in that general area. But again, we have no date, no date and time, which I think is be pretty big. And then notice how the entire time she says allegedly, she says it multiple times, which I find funny. But I do think there might be a shred of truth. But of course, they're just going to, they want to, take some heat off them, put some heat on Seth. And again, what does this prove, right? Because if you can't give us a date and time, how do we don't know if it's not 6 months ago, right? But you wanted to, pull that out. So where did this originally come from? How did this all get started? 'Cause it's just nonsense, right? Yeah, Seth was at work, Again, we could go over the alibis. Again, Seth's on camera at work. He's working hours away. It's so ridiculous, which means you would have to have an accomplice, right? And then this is so funny because they always, well, let me get past this next part. And then I'm going to bring some receipts as well, for something completely different.
Law enforcement allegedly traced and triangulated that number to the Clarksville
It's
area.
A little bit north.
They even showed Seth a clip.
Then we have this. This is where, again, I think Crispy are on a campaign, right? And it's weird, because I don't want to think like I'm something special. It's weird, I start getting better. I start covering this case again. Now, Nerdy Attic And again, another person who I followed like a lot. And it might even been the Gabo Vitito case when I first started following him. I know it was short. If it wasn't that, it was shortly after. And loved some of his posts because he had some really good inside sources. And now, so if you don't know, he went out to Henderson, Tennessee. I don't know how long he stayed out there, maybe a week or less, whatever. He, if you want, you can go to his Twitter page. He'd gotten some drone footage, showed a retention pond, wants to reinforce this stupid retention pond theory, which, again, unless Sebastian can turn into a ghost, I don't know how you're getting past, at least 5 cameras that are, at least 2 to 3 of them are very good, and can capture a neighbor in the next street over, God, 200 to 300 feet away or more, coming out of his house, again, on another street over, who would then eventually, SF would try to play off as being Sebastian. Again, one of the most despicable things I've ever seen done. Makes me sick to my stomach. Somebody else mentioned it recently, and I was like, yes, I'm so glad other people are like saying, like, talking about what he did on the anniversary and how you just can't get any lower than that to try to pass off that, on the anniversary that we might have, Sebastian a sighting, a legit sighting, and the entire time it's bullshit. It's just, yeah, those kind of people, anyway. So let me read this. It was previously believed that Texas Roadhouse footage was the final known sighting of Sebastian Rogers, but it has been since confirmed that additional surveillance captured him later that evening between 6:45 and 7:15 as he took out his trash near the house. And then he goes on to say that all 3 parents claimed that this is that they all agreed.
Proof of life since Friday or
insinuating
or Thursday or Friday.
So here we go, right here.
Clarksville area due to his call record.
Even though he had.
Yeah.
So, just spoiler alert. Of course, he spoke with Crispy, right? No surprise there.
Did he tell you about that?
About what?
That his little comment, he hadn't seen proof of life since Friday or
insinuating
or Thursday or Friday when I last saw or heard from my son.
Yeah.
So you just heard that is in late March, maybe April at the latest, with Heather Cohen, Sus PI, interviewing Katie and Crispy. And what did he just say there? What did they have a problem with? That Seth was not on board with the last proof of life. Yet, here is Nerdy literally saying it was him. All 3 caregivers confirm. My fucking ass. Bullshit. I hate this shit. It's one thing to speculate. We all have the right to speculate, theorize. But when you start putting out stuff like that, where you're literally riling people up, trying to pass this off as fact, when literally, I just played an audio from the stink feet themselves, literally claiming, bitching about how Seth did not believe it was his son. Yet, here we go, nerdy addict, drinking the Kool-Aid, whatever. And I don't want to go after Nerdy Addict. It just sucks, man. Because, like, again, it's another guy that I've followed, and he's had some really good stuff. It just breaks my heart. But it's clearly, anybody that gets close, literally in the vicinity of the Proud Feet, all of a sudden, I don't know what, do they get paid off or threatened or both or whatever. Now all of a sudden, these people start putting out these weird narratives and literally trying to pass them off as, facts. I make mistakes all the time. I was brought up, to, show humility, right? I have no issue, I don't need to be the person that has to be right all the time. But him to literally put out this statement, sorry, it goes so damn fast, saying, yes, he was cited between 6:45 and 7:15. Notice, he put this out today, actually. Oh, it was today he actually put this out. Do you think it's a coincidence that we were just covering, starting 2 days ago, that he didn't make it home? Do you guys think it's just again, and not to build myself up like, oh, I'm something special, right? There's so many great creators out there, so many. But all of a sudden, I'm talking about a scenario which I think has some legs to it, that he may not made it home. And now we have this, right? And then we have this burner phone thing. Do you guys think that's a coincidence? And yes, I agree 100%. I agree with a lot of people in the chat. Yeah. Where is it? Yes, Krista, I agree. And I know what they're trying to do. If this, and again, I don't want to have like this ego. Let's just say if it is a chance that, this is, because again, we have fish sticks going after me again, or I want to say going after me, whatever, however you want to call it. Clearly tied to the stink feet. Now we have Nerdy Addict, who's been out there, I don't know, a week or around a week, give or take. And now we have all this stuff, and all this stuff is stuff that we've been talking about. Again, is it a coincidence? But yes, I agree, Krista, because I do wonder if it is part like, hey, let's just keep putting out this nonsense, so they're talking about it and they're not actually looking into the case. I 100% agree. And that's why in today's video, I'm going to hit that like button, because I'm going to bring some proof. Again, I think it's big. I wish I could show more, because I know there's going to be naysayers. I could have the original video of the lights, and they would, of course, say, oh, it's AI or something, But, because I know clearly somebody's watching, right? Somebody's watching. And so I want to get their attention. No, not get their attention. Clearly, I already have their attention. I want to make them sweat a little bit. So,
even though he had.
Yeah. Which did he tell you about that?
Sweat a little bit.
About what?
That his little comment, he hadn't seen proof of life since Friday or Thursday or Friday when I last saw or heard from my son.
Yeah, I
again, shame on Nerdy. I hate that. I hate to even say that, because man, that's sad. He's had some really good information in the past, right? And again, please don't ever show hate to anybody that we mention. We're above all that stuff, right? Again, it just blows me away that certain people are adults and the way they act online. It's just
heard about that comment. I mean, he hasn't said it.
Yes, Tisa, I agree. That is one thing. Steve, former law enforcement detective, that was one of his famous sayings. That. There are no coincidences in true crime.
To me, but I had heard about the comment.
But see, this is where, like, truth be told, this is where everything needs to come out.
He already knew that there was proof of life.
He knew there was proof of life prior to that. He started some shit. It caused the fuck.
Okay. All right. And then there's this one. One more. From Nerdy. And then we'll get into my receipts. He started some shit.
It caused the fuck.
Then he put out another statement. Not sure how relevant this is, but it's confirmed that Sebastian Rogers sometimes hid beneath a neighbor's vehicle when playing flashlight tag. And then he goes on, I think, or agrees with somebody saying that he had kids that he was playing with, if I recall. Yeah, right here. Someone asked, did he have any friends? Look at that. I cannot believe he actually went the mile to say that. I think the part where he liked to hit by cars, I think that part could be true. But from what I understand, yes, there is some kids and teenagers in that neighborhood. Not a lot. Most of that neighborhood, it's not a big neighborhood. You know, now you have that adjacent neighborhood, you know, with the construction site. But obviously that hadn't been built before he went missing. A good portion of those people, you know, retired, or the main thing, if they have kids, a lot of them, they have moved on. Like, you know, their kids have moved out. Again, when Sebastian Rogers went missing, half the neighborhood, at least half the neighborhood, had no idea who Sebastian Rogers was. That comes from multiple accounts. So keep that in mind. So, again, I would love to know who these teenage neighbors are. I think the hiding, because even as a kid as me, I did stuff like that. But I think it's interesting mentioning the flashlight tag, right? And again, remember, this guy went and spoke with Crispy. And guess where all the burner details came from? I couldn't find the tweet. I don't know if he took it down or what, because I couldn't find it. I seen like a screenshot of it, I think on somebody's show. But he literally says, yeah, I spoke with Crispy, and he told me about this burner phone and that they traced it, triangulated it, blah, 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 blah. So, again, are you guys surprised that this came from, you know, Crispy? Yeah. Again, they were like, what kid? I think the bus picks up like I don't know. I don't want to speculate the number, but let's just say the bus just picks up a very small amount of kids to go to school. So keep that in mind. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's pathetic. But I love how they love to add that flashlight tag in, because it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too. They don't believe in the flashlight video, but yet they think he's wandering around and maybe Seth went and, you know, lured him out with the flashlight. Yet we know, if you believe in that video, then you know there is somebody running back to the home. So who the hell is that, right? They're literally running back to the house. So again, I think it's so funny. But let's go to the receipts. You guys ready? Again, I wish I could do more, and maybe we will. I have to kind of like be very careful because I can't burn my my sources. But I am going to show you guys something. But yeah, that's the school bus flying up Kellen. Now, I think it just goes up and does a U-turn so it can stop right on Stafford and Kellen, and then that's where the kids are supposed to, that's the stop, right? It's not stopping at each home. But yeah. All right. Yeah, see, I think so. That's where I think part of it's true, and then they're trying to twist it like he was playing, and then they want to add in this flashlight tag, and you know, but I have not heard anything, you know, about any teenagers that knew Sebastian playing it. Again, I don't know everything, but yeah. Got the one running back done. It will be sent to you and FBI as well. Ooh, okay. Awesome. Thank you. All right, guys. I am bringing some receipts for you. Hey, we got Bullhorn. Good to see you, Bullhorn. Hope you're doing well. When is Pigfest, Bullhorn? Again, it's something I haven't really balled on that angle, but kind of curious. All right, guys. So here, because this is why it's just like all this nonsense. Clearly, nerdy, getting information, and they're putting all these stupid narratives out, and I do think it's they're doing that to have us waste our time. To 10 to 23. Oh, okay. So towards the end of the month. Thank you. Yeah, and I agree. And I don't want to get I don't want to get distracted and have to sit there and debunk. So, here comes the thunder. Storm's coming. All right. So we're getting towards the end. So here is, and again, maybe another day I'll pull out my phone and I'll show the photos that are on my phone, but I have to, again, my contact, I cannot burn this contact. So what you're seeing here is a picture from last year. Okay. Obviously it's in portrait mode. This person's taking it, a portrait mode. Now, let me show you the next photo. And no, this is not Google Maps. And you'll see in the next picture, you can tell much better. Because I know there's going to be people on the other side. Oh, he's just showing crop photos of, Google Maps, right? All right. I don't know if you guys can hear that thunder. Oops, I went a little too far. Come on. Any second. Here we go. So let me pause it here. I had to be very careful how I showed this picture because it kind of shows some stuff. All right. So this was last year. For those who've been following this case with me, I told you guys that I've had multiple people out there spoken to this homeowner. I told you guys that. I told you guys that I would be able to back this up, when the time comes. But of course, these specific contacts, I have to be, I can't burn them until, yeah. Oh, you quit smoking as well? Oh my God, it's so hard. Whew. Man, first week, even now I still have, but I'm getting my smells pretty much back. My taste buds are starting to come back. Those take a while, but that's awesome. Good for you. Boy, it's not easy. Coffee did it for me. Would they play flashlight tag at 3 a.m. on a school night? Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous. And remember his thing. But anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked too much, but thank you, Paulie, so much for the $4.99. But yeah, great point. Yeah, it sounds ridiculous, right? Okay. This is my source, one of my sources, there with the homeowner. Now, he's standing in a specific position for a specific reason. Actually, multiple reasons. 3 of them, to be in fact. So, just for anybody, because I know there's going to be those naysayers on the other side going, oh, that's just him from Google Earth, Google Maps. Here is Google Maps. Remember, the car, it comes from the road, right? I cannot back this up anymore. I cannot, the Google man isn't, standing right here next to the mailbox, right? And, there's 3 dates, same thing. He is on this side of the road, so he is kind of close, but again, this isn't Google Earth, Google Maps. And keep in mind, this is 1 year before he went missing. Notice this tree. Notice the growth on it, how these are kind of just been planted. Now look at mine. Notice they've grown almost like it's been a year. Okay, so there's a reason for this. This is my contact speaking with the homeowner right then and there, taking multiple photos. I've got more, but I've just got, I think, 4 to share with you. I have to kind of edit. This was kind of last minute. There's 3 things that he's pointing out here because he's got the homeowner talking to him to the left. He's telling them, one, it looked like the car was almost straight across from the mailbox. The mailbox would be right to our right, right? So if we look to we went back here, him and the homeowner are standing right here to the left of the mailbox and looking this way. Why are they looking this way? Well, now they couldn't stand in the driveway because they had multiple vehicles. So that'd be in the way. But this is, now obviously this is not the exact angle of the camera, but this is the direction. He wanted to emphasize this is kind of what's in the camera. This isn't exact, but just kind of rough. The third, and just about almost the main thing, as he said, the vehicle was parked almost right in front of this first tree. Keep that in mind, it's huge. He said it was parked almost right in front of this first tree. Because I think there's actually 3 of them, but this first one here. That is now, here obviously it's just barely starting to grow. Now, of course, if you remember, we have the white truck that was parked right here. Remember, we have the Camaro. Not the Camaro, I'm sorry. I always want to say Camaro. The Dodge. We have that white truck. And guess what? If we were to just be parallel to that white truck that's sitting right here, well, I'll be damned. There's that tree. Anyway, he wanted to emphasize this tree. Continuing on. And I've got more. And I have this phone, and I will keep it until this case gets solved. And I will I will just record from another phone, my phone, and all the chats. And I told you guys, I've had contacts that have spoken literally with this homeowner. And he said it was something just like that. Of course, I'm just overlaying the vehicle from the 3 a.m. off Killen. But yeah, it was something just like that. And I've got one more photo to show you. Because I'm so sick of this just, nonsense that they're putting out. And so take a look, and then just in case for the naysayers, obviously, if you followed this case, this all looks familiar. Keep an eye on this concrete. This guy's got a kind of a unique driveway, right? And I kind of zoom in on it. Sorry, it's starting to rain really loud outside. That's probably perfect timing because I'm trying to finish up. But like I said, bringing the receipts here. Notice his driveway. It's very unique, and we'll look at Google Earth so we can compare. Because I want that. I know some of those other people are watching, and I want them to know. I know stuff. I've said it all along. I don't know everything. Far from it. But I know quite a bit. Here's another photo just to definitely tell you that this is not from no Google Earth. As you can see, he's literally standing in the driveway. You can see his driveway here. It's definitely got, a unique pavement. Compared to the street here. So clearly they are standing right next to the mailbox in the driveway. And then the final photo, does that cement look familiar? Bueller? Anybody recognize where this photo's coming from? Does this driveway look familiar? Cement. That is my inside source, one of them. And that is, I'm 90% sure. I don't want to say 100% because I know some people are coming and going, but I know he was with the guy for quite a bit. And again, this is the guy that, like I told you guys, he told them, And this didn't even happen once. This happened twice with two different, like, yeah, I don't want to get too specific until the day comes, but this is a one-time thing. This happened a couple times, guys, and there's even more stuff that, again, I just cannot mention because it would not be good because I know those people are watching. But as you can see, there's the grass, and again, this is August, September-ish. This is before fish sticks came along. But yeah, I'm like 90% sure that's the homeowner right there, right? And you can tell that's the driveway. They're standing where usually that Dodge is, right? They're literally standing. You can see the crack right here, and you can see the grass with the, sidewalk going up. Literally standing right there. He is getting all the info. And I had to blur this out for a couple of reasons. That's a device that, when things happen, I'll everything will be unedited. But like I said, I told you guys I would back up the things that I can back up. I will back up. And again, this homeowner, his own words, said the car looked like it was parked literally right in front of the bush, straight across, not quite straight across, but kind of kitty corner from his mailbox. That's why they were standing next to the mailbox. The camera is faced towards the common area, right? That's why that photo, the panoramic photo, that's why the one panoramic photo I do have, that's the reason for it, is to kind of give you an idea of the camera, because he had the homeowner standing there right there going like, yep, that's kind of, a rough estimate of where it's centered on. He told him, yes, I can see the guy, somebody, now I don't want to say guy, but he says, I can see the figure running and jumping the ditch. And again, all this is on my phone. Oh, shoot. Oh, God. How do I do that without running my No, maybe I better not do that right now. Yeah, maybe if I hold it like that. God damn it. Oh. Yeah, so there's my phone, but, yeah, okay, that's good. Anyway, where's the camera? Anyway, I don't know if you guys can see that well. Anyway, guys, oh, good. Contact almost came up. Anyway, woo! Timed that just right. Anyway, like I said, but that's just one of many visits. Not many, but one of a couple of visits to the homeowner. Again, and please, no one go bother the homeowner. Again, this was all last year. I never even asked for any of, this. This is when I put out the 3M, and everybody and their dog was contacting me and wanting to help me. And I got a couple of inside sources, and again, they went and they were doing some stuff for me, and then the homeowner was just outside working on his boat. They got to chatting. The guy's super nice. And then, yeah, I explained everything that he could see, and everything that we've talked about is in it. The car shows up. It sits there for, I don't know if he mentioned the exact timing, but the car pulls up without its lights, sits there for a bit, probably waiting for the motion light to turn off, just like we've speculated. And then the lights are moving. The car pulls back out, and then the last thing you see is somebody running across, jumping the ditch. So, again, thank you, Tracy. Again, oh, yeah, absolutely nonsense. I don't think this is the real Seth. I think this is somebody that supports Seth. I know, for obvious. Because I think Seth has something else in the title. Yeah, we kind of went over that, but again, I've got more receipts. to back up these claims that I've mentioned for what feels like a year. Yeah. I don't know if that's the real Seth. I thought the real Seth has a different handle. I know this guy. If not, it's somebody that clearly supports Seth. I could be wrong. The burner phone. We'll play it one last time. If you don't know, it comes from. It comes from you know who, Crispy.
And then Nerdisa asks, physical burners or virtual burners provided through
Hold on, let me make sure.
records and allegedly discovered an outgoing call to a burner phone. Law enforcement allegedly traced and triangulated that number to the Clarksville area. Oh no, I'm sorry. Someone says that Seth talked about mentioning having a burner phone. Okay. And then Nerdisa asks, physical burners or virtual burners provided through apps?
Now, keep in mind, this is coming. So, Nerdy Addict, I usually just on Twitter. I think he does have a YouTube channel. I don't know how much he's on that. Again, I've just always followed him on Twitter. Apparently, he's been out there. Oh, okay, it is Seth. Okay. I feel like sometimes there's another one that has that same handle, but it's slightly different. So, oh, I apologize. Because I know there's another one that has like the similar handle. And so I'm like, is that the real one? Or is that just the guy that just got the same handle? But yeah, they're saying that they, according to this Nerdy Addict who went out, supposedly spoke to the Stink Feet, you know who, Crispy, and told them that they triangulated a call. It was an outgoing call. It was one from Sebastian Rogers' phone. And they said they triangulated it to Clarksville. And then they said that you mentioned that you had a burner phone at some point. Which, again, if you still have the phone, then it's not considered a damn burner phone, which is stupid. But then they said if it wasn't that, it was an app like a voice, Google Voice. Now, that would be more considered like a burner number because you can easily get it and get rid of it, or other apps similar to that. But they said, yeah, basically there was an outgoing call to a burner phone or a burner app number, but they don't say the date. They don't say the time. They just say, oh, before he went missing, there was a call, and it came from allegedly a burner number. So I think maybe there's a shred of truth to that, and probably it was like a call that he made to, maybe allegedly to you 6 months ago, but yet they want to, get people riled up and take it out of context and make it seem like it was one of his last calls. That's what I get from it. I was asked once about a burner phone. Sebastian never had a burner phone, and he wasn't even bought one, and he wasn't ever bought one. It's fake. They're saying that you have a burner phone, and the number in his phone called a burner phone. So they're suggesting you're the one that had a burner phone. I don't know if you can touch on that or not. Again, a lot of people have two phones. And if you still have both of them, then that's not a burner phone, even if it's a prepaid phone. But they're saying that you had like a second phone that allegedly he made a call before he went missing. But they don't ever say exactly when. So I think if there is a shred of truth, they could easily take that out of context and, it was a call made 6 months ago or, a month before he went missing. And it sounds like Crispy just trying to stir some shit up, and but yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I'll play it one more time there. Yeah, it's a shame because, I followed Nerdy, but yeah, after seeing him say all this stuff, I'm so disappointed. So disappointed.
Call records and allegedly discovered an outgoing call to a burner phone. Law enforcement allegedly traced and triangulated that number to the Clarksville area. Oh, no. I'm sorry.
So there you go.
Someone says that Seth talked about mentioning having a burner phone. Okay. And then Nerdy asks, physical burners or virtual burners provided through apps? So, yeah. Sounds like there's a little pressure being put on Seth and the Clarksville area due to possibly an app. Maybe.
So I bet you there's probably an outgoing call, and it was to you, but then they're just twisting it to make it sound like, oh, it's called to a second number or something like that, and then there's no context of when this call was actually made, whether it was made a few nights before he went missing, the night he went missing, or 6 months ago. And of course, this came from you-know-who, which they love to stir shit up and make shit up. Just like the Texas Roadhouse, where they say everybody, including yourself, agreed that you could see 100% that it was Sebastian taking out the trash when...
Or Thursday or Friday when I last saw or heard from my son.
Yeah, I
and that's Chris and Katie, in their own words, literally complaining about you, saying you didn't feel comfortable that was, that was proof of life. But yet here's Nerdy literally trying to quote fact, saying all three caregivers confirm that 100% that's Sebastian taking out the trash. It's just such nonsense. But yeah. And then he doubles down, or not doubles down, then he also talks about him hiding behind a neighbor's vehicle and playing flashlight tag. Apparently he had friends in this neighborhood that he did that with, according to Nerdy Addict, who obviously all this is being filtered, or not filtered, but coming from really the stink feet. Nerdy Addict, I don't know who the person actually is. I just know he's like a social media influencer. I know he covers a lot of cases and stuff. In other cases, I followed him. It's just disappointing to see this because I've seen some of his stuff where he's done some really great work, and it's just amazing when anybody gets close to the stink feet, how people change. It's crazy. But yeah, all this, you know who's behind the curtain. It's no surprise. But we're always thinking of Sebastian Rogers. And I know I have his flyer here. Put up his flyer before we go. Went a little bit longer than I wanted it to. Jesus. There we go. That's where I wanted to end on. But anyway, there's his flyer there, of course. Yeah, Bullhorn. Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's a shame because I used to, you know what? I don't know if you remember, J for Justice, when you guys were outside of the Laundry's home, she had bought like everybody there like coffee and donuts or something like that, and there's some other things, and again, of course, this is years ago, and again, I watched her stuff, as I was starting my stuff up. And it's just a shame, like especially with this case. See right there. See, just like Seth Rogers said. Sorry, Sebastian. We'll leave on this point, and then we'll head out. In the FBI, you would think, because according to Katie, in that interview, you know, with Chloe, or not Chloe, excuse me, Heather, you know, they literally say, oh, the FBI cleared it up and confirmed that it's Sebastian taking out the trash. Yeah, here's the FBI with a timeline and a summary, and right here, in between them going in to have dinner and then returning home, no mention of, hey, there's confirmed sighting of Sebastian Rogers taking out a trash can. This is from the FBI. There is no mention. There should be in between this paragraph or extended in or paragraph in between these sentences. You would think the FBI would put in probably one of the most important pieces of information, if true, the last known sighting of Sebastian. It is not in here. I wonder why. Yeah, I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. But, oh, thank you so much, Noel. I appreciate it. Usually we don't, you know, I don't like to go after the nonsense, because I know some of this, they're just trying to distract us and whatever, you know, and not keep us from spending time actually looking at scenarios and, you know, whatnot. But again, I wanted to address it because it's clear, obviously, they even admit where it comes, who the true source is, which is Chris, which is no surprise. It's just disgusting, really. But with that, I'm going to head out. I got not a big storm, but it's kind of loud out here. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody coming in. If you can, hit that like button if you haven't already. Again, prayers for Seth. I hope you get closure, or you know, you get your son back. If anybody has information, there's the number to call. Oops. Yeah, right there. Kind of got it cut off there. I'm working on another thing to send over to the FBI. I have another person that reached out that has some really good like breakdown bullet points that I might add into that. Maybe we get together. But yeah, I'm not gonna stop. I don't want to bug them, but you know, on occasion I'm gonna send them stuff. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Just touch on that, and like I said, I'll bring more receipts when the time is ready. Drop some bombshells with you guys. But like I said, that homeowner, I've heard the conversations, not like physically, but you know, I know they're true. So with that, thank you to everybody. Thank you guys so much for showing the support for Sebastian, of course. He's the most important thing. Thank you to my wonderful mods, D, Sensei. I'm sure I'll slow it up. I know it's a weekend, but I hope you guys have the rest of a wonderful weekend. I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow, but I am going to have stuff for the members, Patreons, and some more stuff. But hopefully I'll be back Monday.